there everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel of JJ Prime Reviews. So today, I will be taking a look at the Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Leader Class Ultra Magnus. So, let's get down to the review table and see what the big deal is for this big boy. So let's get it on, man, let's go! But of course, before we take a look at the figure, it's always nice to take a look at the packaging first. So yeah, the nice, beautiful Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy logo right there. You got a beautiful artwork for Ultra Magnus in his truck mode and his mighty robot mode, looking pretty good, pretty awesome. Got the arc right there on the top of the volcano. He is indeed a leader class. And got the Transformers logo on the side, Generations, Takaratomi, Hasbro, 8+. I disagree because it should be like 10+, I don't know. But you got a big gigantic Autobot logo right there on the top. You got WFC-K20, his name is Ultra Magnus. And you come to the side here, got a nice beautiful artwork there. Can't wait for Rhinox and Sculpt to be revealed because I really want those guys. And come to the back here, got the obligatory product shots, got the Autobot logo right there, 21 steps, got the albino prime mode, got a big gigantic robot mode right here, the full-on Ultra Magnus robot mode, and the truck mode as well, and of course 16 steps, and it transforms more than meets the eye. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it for the packaging itself. And of course, included in the package you also get the collector's card, and it's another Dinobot card. Now this is the Wave 2 version of the Dinobot card, because if you open up the sticker bag right here, just open that up and you can see the full-on Maximal symbol for Dinobot. You can see that Dinobot has fully turned himself into a Maximal, and that is my Dinobot right there. Because I want Dinobot to be a Maximal, and yeah. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, so that is pretty much it for the collector's card itself. And here is Ultra Magnus fully transformed into his truck mode. Now obviously this is a remold of the original Siege Leader class Ultra Magnus. You can see the cab section is nicely done and it's remolded to make it more, more of an Earth truck, more so than a Cybertronian truck. So, and you can see the wheels are pretty much different from the Siege version. They're more Earth mode wheels, and yeah, you can see the side panels as well. They're heavily remolded to make it more, kind of, to make it more of an Earth truck. So you kind of can see the details of the trailer. So yeah, pretty cool, I will say. The only complaint that I have with this truck mode is the visible hands. I wish you can flip in the visible hands, but it is what it is. But but yeah, it's getting closer. We're gonna take a look at the details right here. Got some nice gunmetal gray paint for the grills section right there. Got nice translucent plastic for the windows and windshields. That's pretty cool. And got some nice gunmetal gray paint on as well around the headlights. Got the Autobot symbol on the front right there. It would have been nice if they had a gunmetal gray paint for the front bumper, but it is what it is, You can see the little tiny smokestacks right there. You got these posts just sticking out, and that's more so for the blast effects. That's pretty cool. And yeah, you can see the shoulder launchers are already stored right on the truck mode. So cool. And it's quite cute that this section right here, you can see like the Autobot symbol. Like, it's meant for a repo label right here. So that is pretty cute. That's pretty adorable, I will say. I do quite like that very much. And you come to the back here, you can see his toes just hanging out. Some nice reds, some nice super paint right here as well. But yeah, all around, it's a nicely done truck mode. Just the visible hands, I just don't like that. So yeah, pretty cool truck mode indeed, in my opinion. So of course, he does come with another weapon. He comes with this gun right here. You can see this gun is actually casted in red plastic, but all of this is nicely painted in a nice gunmetal gray, and I do quite like this gun right here. Now, it's the same gun that came with the Siege Magnus, so yeah. But yeah, pretty cool, I will say. Pretty nice done. Now you can store on the truck mode. So you can see there is a port right here. So just plug this in, plug that in, and there we go. And there you go, there you have the storage for your gun in truck mode. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the truck mode. So now we shall move on to some size comparisons, and we got a lot of comparisons here, so please bear with me. So now let's just start with the first comparison, shall we? Let's. Here is Ultra Magnus compared with the Siege Voyager class Springer with the Earthrise Deluxe class RC, or Kingdom Deluxe class RC, because it's basically the same thing right here, because you know this figure is being re-released in the Kingdom line. So yeah, there we go. So let's move on to the next size comparison. And speaking of which, here is Ultra Magnus compared to the Kingdom Deluxe class Warp Pass, and see how they scale with one another. With the Kingdom Voyager class, I nearly said Scourge, Cyclonus. This is Cyclonus, not Scourge, okay? This is Kingdom Voyager class Cyclonus. You can see how they scale with one another. With the Studio Series 86 Voyager class Scourge, and remember in the 1986 film, Scourge is like, you want me to gut Ultra Magnus? You want me to? Anyway, so let's move on to the next size comparison. And with the Kingdom Voyager class Inferno, and I'm not entirely sure this scale works, because the fire truck for Inferno is way smaller than a regular truck. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's correct scale. Anyway, so let's move on to the next size comparison. And here is Ultra Magnus compared with the Earthrise Leader class Optimus Prime. They look quite good together, I will say. Ultra Magnus is slightly bigger than Optimus Prime per to the cap, so yeah, I mean, yeah, but they still look good together. Can this guy fit inside the trailer? Of course not. No, you cannot fit Ultra Magnus inside the trailer. I mean, it's a truck and a truck, so no truck is ever gonna fit inside this trailer because they're too big. So, but yeah, so now let's move on to the next size comparison. Here is Ultra Magnus compared with the SS86 Voyager class Hot Rods. You can see how they scale with one another. With the SS86 Deluxe class Jazz. With the Studio Series 86 Deluxe class Autobots Blur. The Studio Series 86 Deluxe class Cup. He's so tiny compared to Ultra Magnus. So, but yeah, he's tiny compared to Ultra Magnus. Anyway, let's move on to the next size comparison. And here is Ultra Magnus compared with the SS86 Leader class Grimlock. So you can see how they scale with one another. With the Kingdom Leader class Beast Wars Megatron. Yes. And last but not least, with the Siege Leader class Ultra Magnus. You can see how much remolding that they did to this figure. You can see these side panels. I mean, these two middle side panels. Let's take out the gun right here and put it off the side first. So you can see these two middle side panels right here. They kind of look similar to these panels, but they're also a bit remolded. So they remolded a little bit, so you can see, there we go, this part is different than this part, so that is pretty cool. They actually remolded the side panels, like all of it, so that's pretty cool. They remolded the wheels as well. You can obviously tell that the cab section is pretty much different. That is pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's more Cybertronian look. This is the more Earth look, so that's pretty cool. And you got the new shoulder missiles, you know, compared to these. I think these ones look way better than that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, and with all the remolding and, you know, the different transformations, and, you know, the Kingdom Ultra Magnus is way longer than the Siege Ultra Magnus. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So so yeah, so that's pretty much it for the Ultimate comparisons. Okay, so I think we are pretty much done with the truck mode. So it's cool, I quite dig it. So let us transform Ultra Magnus into his robot mode. Now before we take a look at his robot mode, his full-on robot mode, we need to transform the cab section into the White Prime mode. So the first thing I want to do is just take out all of these accessories right here and just take out all of these weapons right there, put them off to the side, and now we shall get started. So now you want to take all this, you want to unclip this section right here, just unclip that, unclip all that, unclip all that. And they also tab into those slots right here, these tabs tab into those slots right there. So just take this off and slide all this off. And we're gonna take this full trailer section right here. Whoops, I bumped the camera, sorry. So there we go, put the trailer off to the side and we shall begin. So now, first thing I want to do is just flip out the heel spurs, and split the legs and just bring this down, bring all this down. And there we go, and just bring all this forward, rotate this around, and just slide all this up, and just slide this back in, slide all this back in. There we go, just clip all this back together, and just untap this, flip up the head, and just close all this up, and just tab in the arms right there, bring down the arms, and rotate this around, and rotate the fist around, and there you have the full-on White Prime from Ultra Magnus. And yeah, it's pretty nice and G1-y. I do quite like it. Yeah, pretty cool. I do quite like it. And yeah, so let's get in closer. So we're gonna take a look at that head sculpt. Wait, let me raise up the camera a little bit more so you can see the head sculpt right there. So there we go. Nice, beautiful. Hey, stop bumping the camera. But yeah, nice, beautiful head sculpt right there. Nice red for the eyes, nice blue for the mouth plate, nice silver paint on the head crest right there as well. And a pretty cool Optimus Prime head sculpt. Got a nice Autobot symbol right there on the shoulder. You can see the arrows right here. It is not painted, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Got some nice blue paint on the crotch section right here as well. But yeah, this all plain white, you know. But hey, it's a White Prime, so, but yeah. Now, does he have articulation in this mode? Yeah, he does. The head is on the ball joint, can rotate a full 360, can look up a little bit, it can look down a little bit. The shoulders can rotate a full 360, it can move in and out. You do have a bicep swivel, elbow joint, about 90 degrees of bend, and you do have a wrist swivel, which is really nice. And you do have a waist rotation as well. And you got the legs, can move up that far on the ratchet, can move back only that far on the ratchet, and you can't really do the full splits, you can only move out that far. And you do have a thigh swivel, you do have a knee joint, about slightly under 90 degrees of bend, and you do have ankle tilts a little bit. So now on this side, the ankle tilt, I try to move the ankle tilt, but for some reason the foot wants to go back up. I don't know why. Is it on the spring or something? I don't know. It's like I bend the ankle a little bit and then just want to push itself out. I don't know why that happens, but it's on my copy, so it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's decently posable. The figure is pretty nice and posable, so yeah. And just for a quick comparison with this Prime, here is this Albino Prime compared with the Albino Prime from the Siege Ultra Magnus. You can see this done in an off-white, and this is just done plain cartoony white. So yeah, you can see what they changed, what they what they kept the same. I think the front crotch, I think is the same. Yeah, it's the same crotch piece right here. But when you come to the back, like for the Ultra Magnus crotch, it's pretty much different. The whole chest area is different. The head sculpt is pretty much the same, I believe. So yes, it's pretty much the same. Arms are the same, legs are the same. So yeah, except the wheels. The wheels are definitely different. So yeah, really nice comparison between these two White Primes. Pretty cool. So yeah, so without further ado, let us move on to the nitty and the gritty, which is the final robot mode for Ultra Magnus. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So now we shall start bringing in all the parts right here. Bringing all these parts and bringing all these parts. And there we go. First thing I want to do is just split all this, and there we go. And I want to break all this apart. So, so just break all this apart. Bring this out. Bring all this out, and flip this down right now. And now you want to take this section here, just untap, slide all this off, and just slide all this off. There we go. And now you want to do with the section right here, just fold all this in, fold all that in, and just make sure it's just folded in until you tab into place. There you go, one side all done. Same thing on the other side, and just flip all this in, and just flip all that in, and there we go. Just make sure it's tabbed in nice and secure like. And they already did that to you already. If that didn't do it for you, you're supposed to flip this in just like so, and there you have the armor bits all done and ready. So we need to do a little bit of prep work for this white prime. Just need to flip in the heel spurs, and just flip down the crotch, rotate the crotch around, and there we go. So now you take this section right here, slide this down, slide all this down, got the Magnus booty right there. So just untap this first, and then just bring this down, just flip in the head, and just close all that up. There we go, and just slide this back in. And now we can actually put on the armor bits. So just slide all this in, just peg this in, close all that up, and just the other side, open that up, and just slide this in, slide that in, and there you have the forearm pieces, nice and secure like. And just slide the shoulder piece right in here, and there is a tab that can tab into that slot right in there to further secure it into place. And there we go, and that is so much better than the Siege Magnus. Because in the Siege Magnus version, the shoulder pieces, they don't really tab in, so I like how they fixed it on the Kingdom version. But anyway, just slide this in and just flip this up, and that will tab into place. There we go, and there you have that done. So now I'm gonna take this whole section right here and just tab this on the top right there, and just bring this down, tab into place, bring this down, clip into place, and there we go. So now we can take the legs right here and just slide all this in, tab into place, and slide all of this in. There we go. And I think we're done. Are we done? Yes, we are done. So there you have Ultra Magnus fully transformed into his robot mode, and he looks magnificent in my opinion. Oh wow, this really looks so cartoony, and I love the cartoon look even more than the Siege Magnus. I really love this Magnus so much more than the Siege Magnus. It's so nice and cartoon accurate, you know. It's very nice and clean, and I do quite like that really much. I mean, I do like the battle damage on the Siege version, but I think I prefer like more of a cleaner look for my Ultra Magnus. And is this spoilers for Kingdom? I don't think so, because Ultra Magnus is completely dead. He's just dead. So can he deal with death? Can he deal with death? I don't think he can deal with it. Yeah, he cannot deal with death. He cannot deal with death. Anyway, so let's get in closer so we can take a look at the head sculpt right there. Got a nice blue for the eyes right there, and you can see here there's a translucent piece right here on the back of his head. So does he have light piping? Does he have light piping? I don't know. Let's see. Let's try. Let's see if it's light piping. No, it doesn't have light piping, unfortunately. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But yeah, but still, very nice head sculpt, very nice and G1-y. I do quite like that. Nice shoulder pylons right here. They're pretty cool. Oh wait, we forgot to add the finishing touch, which is the shoulder missiles right here. And this will just plug in to these ports on the sides. Right in there. And just plug it right there. Plug it in, and there you go. Now we're done. Totally forgot about that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, pretty nicely done robot mount, I will say. Pretty cool. Got a new Magnus booty right there. So but yeah, nicely done. Really nicely done. The articulation on this figure is pretty much the same as the White Prime. Well, now you have a new piece of ankle tiltage right here. So yeah, really nice full range of ankle tiltage right there, and I do quite like that. So yeah, the rest of it is pretty much the same, and the waist swivel is kind of hindered by these pieces. So if you really don't like these pieces, you can just cut them off. But I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to ruin the figure. So yeah. So I mean, it's a type of mod that you can do if you want to, but hey, it is what it is. So but yeah, now he can definitely hold his gun. So let's bring in his gun and put it into his hand. I kind of wish if Ultra Magnus had his hammer, because I always see Ultra Magnus with his hammer, like from Transformers Animated, from Transformers Prime, and yeah, I kind of wish he had hammer, but it is what it is. So yeah, so now let us move on to some size comparisons. Here is Ultra Magnus compared with Galvatron's minions, Scourge and Kingdom Cyclonus. You see how they scale with one another. Here is Ultra Magnus compared with the Kingdom Leader class Beast Wars Megatron and the Studio Series 86 Leader class Grimlock. So you can see how they scale with one another, and Ultra Magnus is a little bit shorter than Megatron. So yeah, he's pretty much the shortest of the leaders, you know. Yeah. So yeah, but we'll see what happens when Galvatron comes in. So yeah, because there is a new Kingdom Leader class Galvatron. If I haven't mentioned that already, then I'll mention it right now. So there is a new Kingdom Leader class Galvatron coming soon. So I can't wait to have that, because that is my definitive G1 Galvatron. So yeah, I can't wait to get that. So anyway, so let's move on to the next set of comparisons. Speaking of which, here is Ultra Magnus with his Autobot team from the 1986 movie. You got Jazz, got Springer, RC, Blur, Cup, and Hot Rod, and they look quite good together. I will say they look amazing together. Now these two figures, they're not Studio Series form, including Ultra Magnus. But so if in the future we get to see an SS86 RC and an SS86 Springer, those figures have to be way better than these two. So yeah. But anyway, let's move on to the next set of comparisons. And here is Ultra Magnus compared with Kingdom Vortex class Inferno and Kingdom Deluxe class Warpath. With the Earthrise, not Deluxe class. Let's try that again. With the Earthrise Leader class Optimus Prime, and pretty much a Vortex size. I mean, yeah. So yeah, Ultra Magnus is a lot bigger than Optimus Prime, as he should be, obviously. So that is a really good scale, in my opinion. And last but not least, here is Ultra Magnus compared with the original Siege Leader class Ultra Magnus, and yeah, there you can see obviously the differences between the two. Yeah, different shoulders, different chest sections, different crotch, and yeah, you can see different side of his legs right here. The side of his legs are completely remolded. I do quite like that very much. And yeah, but everything else is pretty much the same. Is this Ultra Magnus the same height as this Ultra Magnus? It's pretty much the same height. I mean, this guy has taller shoulders. So yeah, he wins in the shoulder game. But all in all, though, I prefer this one over this guy, because this one is more towards the G1 look. I do quite like G1 look way better, and that is awesome. So but yeah, pretty cool in my opinion. I love this figure way more than this guy. I mean, I still love this figure. This figure is still awesome in my opinion, but this one so much better than this guy. It fixes some things like on this mold, and yeah, pretty cool. So that is pretty much it for the robot mode comparisons. Okay, so here are my final thoughts on the Transformers Kingdom Leader class Ultra Magnus, and wow, this figure really is amazing, and I dig this figure so much more than the Siege Ultra Magnus, just like I said earlier. So but yeah, really cool figure in my opinion. The robot mode looks really nice and cartoony, and I do quite like that. The alt mode is pretty good, but the only thing I really don't like about the alt mode is the visible hands. That's the only thing I don't like. The visible hands are just ugh. The White Prime pretty cool. I do quite like the White Prime gimmick, you know, when the armor pieces combining with the White Prime to become Ultra Magnus. I do quite like that gimmick a lot, so it's pretty cool. The weapons, the shoulder missiles and the gun, they're in a nice touch. Unfortunately, he doesn't come with the 2 black guns that was included in the Siege Ultra Magnus, but it is what it is. Transformation is really nice and smooth, and so overall is an enjoyable figure to mess with, and yeah, pretty cool. Articulation is pretty good as well, so he's pretty nice and posable. I do quite like that very, very much. Unfortunately, in this robot mode, the waist swivel is kind of hindered by those 2 white pieces right there, but it is what it is. I mean, if you cut out those 2 white pieces at the back, then you can have a full waist rotation, so it doesn't have to hinder the waist rotation a bit, but he still has a bit of the waist rotation in for me, so yeah, so, but yeah, pretty cool figure in my opinion. So if I were to rank Ultra Magnus from a scale of 1 to 10, I think I would just give him 9.5 out of 10. So there are some things that could have been better, so 9.5 out of 10 is still pretty high. So yeah, pretty well done in my opinion. So Hasbro did a great job in remolding the Siege Ultra Magnus mold to become the Earth mode Ultra Magnus. I do quite like that. So yeah. And yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for today's video review. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're completely new to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. And while you're at it, click that notification bell icon down below as well, so that you know when my new videos are up and ready. And you can always check out my Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom reviews playlist for any videos you may have missed. So I'll post a link to that playlist in the description down below. And also, I did get this guy from a shop called My Toy M Corp, AMCORP. So that's what it's called. You know, the M Corp Mall. You know, My Toy M Corp. That's where I got it from. But if you're overseas, if you're in the US, you can always check out cmdstore.com, or you can always check out the main website, bigbadtoystore.com, for the availability for these figures. So I'll post links to the website in the description down below as well. So I think that's pretty much it for me to say. So there you have the Transformers Kingdom Leader Class Ultra Magnus. And this is JJ Prime signing off. Peace out.